What's up everybody, Bandit here with my buddy Wayne. So we got a new box and shipment in here from Sparks Parts, and let's see what we'll be diving into today. So we have a distributor cap, a distributor rotor, a whole box of spark plugs, and spark plug wires. Now you definitely want to replace these before too long. This vehicle has not really had a good tune-up since we got it. It's been kind of looked over and everything seems to be running. But the spark plugs is something that I've certainly been interested in, and we should know a lot more about the vehicle when we actually pull those spark plugs and get to see what they look like. So we went ahead, the distributor is on the passenger side here, kind of under the intake, and there is a really neat kind of splash shield. So this is what it looks like, and it actually has some snaps on it, so you can take it off without removing all the wires. Now, I may be inexperienced, and I may not have worked on every vehicle in the world, but I've never seen anything remotely like this going over a distributor. So it is really neat. You know, it's a good kind of idea to keep all of the water and the grime away from it, but I've never seen one of these. So comment below if you've ever seen one of these and somewhere different than an FJ80. But with all that in mind, we'll go ahead and get started here. So we figured it would be easiest to go ahead and remove the whole intake system. It should make getting to that distributor a good bit easier, and all of it should come apart relatively easily. But some of these old vacuum hoses are a little bit stiff. So everything should pull up and out of the way at this point. Alright, so we're looking here at the top of the distributor cap, and actually you can make out the 6 numbers directly on there. Also, the spark plug wires are also numbered. So we won't really have to label any of the numbers because they all come pre-labeled. So 6 here goes to the back, 2 here, let's trace that up, goes to one of these front ones. So we will just have to go ahead and take everything off and put it back on exactly the way it is. Now all the new parts are numbered exactly like these factory originals, which is a good reason why you buy factory parts. So another reason to go through Sparks Parts and get all of your new parts, because they do send you exactly what's on these vehicles from the factory, so even better. So looking here a little bit deeper, we just took an extra little second here, but all of the wires actually go in order to the cylinders. So we're looking at cylinder 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 being in the back, first one here being in the front, and also there's a date stamp of manufacture here on these spark plug wires that say 1991. So we may actually be dealing with the original factory wires here on the Toyota. So with all that in mind, we're going to go ahead and take apart all of this factory stuff and replace it with parts made in 2016 or 2017. So here's a look at one of the old spark plugs. As you can see, it is definitely pretty gross, and it has a ton of buildup on it. So that's definitely not a sign of a healthy engine there. And we'll take a look here at the new one. Now, the new spark plugs are actually a larger diameter than the old spark plugs, as you can see here. So definitely a different size. They're fresh and clean. They do fit, you know, exactly the same as the old ones, but they are a completely different design, and both of them are by Denso. So hopefully we'll get all these back in place, and we'll have a lot better performance here out of the Land Cruiser. Here's another one. Really worn down yet again. All sorts of buildup on the end of these. I would expect to get a lot more performance out of these new spark plugs here from Denso. So we went ahead and took the distributor cap off, and it goes on just like this, with number 6 facing forward and number 3 facing forward, number 2 facing the passenger side, and the words Denso there directly at the top. Now we'll go ahead and lean down here and pop the rotor off. All of that, and all of this will get replaced with new parts. So now that all the new spark plugs are in, we'll go ahead and start putting together the distributor. So we'll go ahead and pop this rotor back on. It only fits on one way, so it should be pretty easy to get that right. And with that on, we'll go ahead and put the distributor cap back on. So it lines up. Again, Denso is at the top here. You'll have 3, 6, and 2 working across the front, and everything else should line itself up. And we'll go ahead and run these screws in. So now we got the distributor back on and all the spark plug wires matched up and put back on it. Like I said, it was a really easy process. All you have to remember is that cylinder number 6 is all the way in the back, cylinder number 1 is all the way in the front, and then it just counts back in order. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then all of the wires and the distributor cap is labeled, so it makes matching everything up really easy. So now with everything back in, we'll go ahead and button everything back up with the splash shield and all of the intake and vacuum hoses and everything else. Alright, so we got everything buttoned back up here with the Land Cruiser. All of the dust cover and spark plug wires and vacuum hoses and everything else are back as they should be, and everything's looking great. So huge thanks to Sparks Parts for sending us all the parts that we needed here for this project. They sent us the spark plug wires, the spark plugs, the distributor cap, the rotor, and really everything that you could possibly need for this job. And it made it a lot easier having genuine Toyota parts to work with now that everything was labeled and everything else. So huge thanks to them, and a job well done. So thank you all very much for watching. Have a fantastic week, everybody. We'll catch you next time.